Most people believe that saving $10,000 requires a huge salary, a lucky break, or some kind of financial genius that they simply don't have. That belief is wrong, and it's costing people years of their life. Here's the truth. A 24-year-old named Terry had $38,000 in student debt, a job that paid $42,000 a year, and a bank account that hovered so close to zero it might as well have been a countdown clock. One night, his card got declined buying groceries. Not a big purchase, just groceries. That's the moment everything changed for him. 14 months later, he had saved his first $10,000. No lottery ticket, no inheritance, no side hustle that blew up overnight. Just a handful of decisions, repeated on autopilot, until the results became impossible to ignore. If you've ever looked at your bank account and felt that same sinking feeling, this video is going to show you exactly what Terry did, in the exact order he did it. And near the end, I'm going to share the one lesson that made the biggest difference of all, the one most people never even think about until it's too late. Stick around, because saving your first $10,000 might take a lot less time than you think. If you believe financial education shouldn't be locked behind expensive courses or complicated jargon, hit that like button and subscribe right now. Every subscription tells YouTube to put this in front of someone else who's staring at their bank account tonight, feeling exactly like Terry did. It costs you nothing, and it might change someone's entire trajectory. Let's talk about why that first $10,000 matters so much. It's not really about the number. $10,000 won't make you rich. It won't buy a house outright or let you quit your job. But it does something more important than any of that. It proves something to you. It proves that you're not powerless with money, that you can set a goal, follow through, and actually watch it happen. Most people never experience that feeling because most people never save anything meaningful. They live paycheck to paycheck, not because they're bad with money, but because nobody ever showed them a clear, doable path. They think saving requires some dramatic lifestyle overhaul, so they never start at all. Terry didn't have a financial background. He wasn't disciplined by nature. In fact, before that declined card, he described himself as someone who just kind of hoped it would work out. Sound familiar? What changed wasn't his income. It wasn't a raise or a windfall. It was a system, a series of small, boring, repeatable habits that stacked on top of each other until the results became undeniable. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what that system looked like, step by step, so you can start building your own version of it today. And trust me, the order these lessons come in matters, because some of them set up the ones that follow. Let's start with the one thing Terry did before anything else even worked. The first thing Terry changed had nothing to do with cutting expenses. It was about timing. See, most people try to save whatever's left over at the end of the month. The problem is, there's rarely anything left over. Life expands to fill whatever space you give it. A bigger paycheck just means a bigger grocery bill, a nicer apartment, a few more takeout orders. Before you know it, you're back to zero, wondering where it all went. Terry flipped the order completely. The day his paycheck hit his account, $200 automatically moved into a high-yield savings account before he ever saw it. Not after bills. Not after fun money. Before anything. This is called paying yourself first, and it works because it removes willpower from the equation entirely. You don't need discipline to resist spending money you never see. Out of sight really is out of mind. Think of it like a gym membership that charges you automatically every month, except in reverse, it's working in your favor. Terry wasn't relying on motivation at 11 p.m. after a long day to decide whether to transfer money. The decision was already made once, and then it just repeated itself, paycheck after paycheck, without him having to think about it again. But automating your savings only works if there's actually money flowing in the right direction. And that brings us to something most people get completely wrong. Terry had no idea where his money was actually going. Almost nobody does. Ask most people how much they spend on food each month, and they'll guess. Usually low. Way low. That's because our brains are terrible at remembering small purchases. A $5 coffee here, a $14 lunch there. None of it feels significant in the moment. But add it up over 30 days, and it's often hundreds of dollars quietly disappearing. So Terry started tracking every single dollar. Every purchase, no matter how small, got logged. Within the first week, he was stunned. He wasn't overspending on anything dramatic. There was no one big mistake. It was death by 1,000 cuts, small purchases scattered across the month that, together, added up to real money. This is the part most people skip because tracking sounds tedious. But here's what most people don't realize. Awareness alone changes behavior. You don't even need to force yourself to spend less once you can actually see where the money goes. The simple act of writing it down makes you pause before the next purchase. It's the same reason people eat less when they have to write down every single thing they eat. Nobody wants to log the fourth snack of the day. Money works the same way. Once Terry could see his spending clearly, one category stood out immediately, and it was something he barely even remembered signing up for. Subscriptions. Terry counted them up and found 7 separate recurring charges. A streaming service he hadn't opened in 4 months. A fitness app from a New Year's resolution that lasted about 9 days. A cloud storage upgrade he didn't need. None of them were expensive individually, $5 here, $12 there, but together they were quietly draining almost $90 a month. This is what financial experts call invisible spending, and it's one of the most common ways money disappears without you noticing. Companies count on it. They make signing up effortless and canceling deliberately annoying because they know most people will simply forget the charge exists. Terry canceled everything he wasn't actively using and kept only what genuinely added value to his life. That single afternoon of cleanup saved him more money per month than most people save by skipping coffee for an entire year. This is where things get interesting, though, because cutting costs is only half the story. The other half is a lot less comfortable to talk about. Cutting expenses sounds simple on paper, but it comes with a cost that nobody likes to admit, a social one. Terry moved into a smaller apartment with 2 roommates to cut his rent significantly. He started packing lunch instead of ordering out with coworkers. He biked to work instead of driving. None of this was glamorous. His friends noticed. Some of them teased him for bringing a sandwich to lunch while they ordered delivery. It stung, if he's being honest. Here's the thing, though. That discomfort was temporary. The alternative, staying broke indefinitely to avoid a little social awkwardness, is permanent. This is a trade a lot of people aren't willing to make, and that's exactly why most people never save anything significant. It's not that they can't. It's that they're not willing to feel different from their friends for a little while, even when that difference is quietly building them a future. Financial freedom rarely feels impressive while you're building it. It usually looks a little boring, maybe even a little awkward. But the version of you 14 months from now doesn't care whether people teased you about a sandwich. They care whether you have options. Unfortunately, this is where many people fail. They start strong, feel the social friction, and quietly give up within a few weeks. So Terry did something smart to keep himself from becoming another statistic. If you had an extra $500 dropped into your account today, what would you actually do with it? Pay down debt? Save it? Treat yourself? Drop your honest answer in the comments. I'm curious how many of you would save it versus spend it. Now back to Terry. One of the smartest things Terry did was give his goal a specific number. Not save more. Not get better with money. $10,000 by a specific point in time. Vague goals create vague results. If your only goal is to save more money, your brain has no way to measure progress. And without measurable progress, motivation quietly evaporates. But when you have a specific target, every dollar you save moves you visibly closer to something real. Terry tracked his progress in a simple spreadsheet, watching the number climb week by week. Even when progress felt slow, he could see it was happening. That visibility kept him going during the weeks when motivation alone wouldn't have been enough. If you're serious about saving your first $10,000, pick your number now. Write it down somewhere you'll actually see it. That single step turns saving from a vague hope into a measurable mission. Once Terry had real savings building up, he faced a decision that trips up a lot of people. What to actually do with the money once it started accumulating. Here's a mistake a lot of people make. As soon as they have some savings, they want to throw all of it straight into investments, hoping to grow it as fast as possible. Terry almost did the same thing. But he learned something crucial first. An emergency fund has to come before investing, not after. Investments can lose value in the short term. If your car breaks down or you lose your job and your only money is tied up in the stock market, you might be forced to sell at the worst possible time, locking in a loss you didn't need to take. So Terry split his savings intentionally. The first $5,000 stayed in cash, untouched, purely as a safety net. Only once that cushion existed did he start investing the rest. When his car needed an unexpected repair a few months later, he paid for it from his emergency fund without touching a single investment. No panic, no debt, no disruption to his long-term plan. This is the difference between saving and building actual financial stability. One protects you from bad luck. The other grows your future. You need both, but the order matters. With his foundation solid, Terry realized cutting expenses alone wasn't going to get him there fast enough. So he made a change most people overlook completely. Most personal finance advice focuses entirely on cutting costs, but there's a limit to how much you can cut. You can only eliminate so many subscriptions and skip so many takeout orders before you hit a wall. Income, on the other hand, has no ceiling. Terry started freelancing on weekends, using a skill from his day job to pick up small projects online. It wasn't dramatic, roughly $300 extra a month. But that $300 accelerated his timeline by 4 full months. 4 months of his life, given back to him, simply because he found a way to earn a little more alongside spending a little less. This is the part people underestimate. Cutting expenses has a floor. Increasing income doesn't have a ceiling. Even a small amount of extra income, applied consistently, compounds into serious time saved. Terry also got smart about expenses that weren't monthly, but still inevitable, and this next lesson stopped a whole category of financial stress before it even started. Car repairs, holiday gifts, annual insurance payments. These expenses feel like emergencies because they don't show up every month, but they're actually completely predictable. You know they're coming. You just don't know exactly when. Terry started what's called a sinking fund, setting aside $50 a month into a separate savings bucket for these predictable but irregular costs. When his car needed new brakes, he didn't panic or reach for a credit card. The money was already there, waiting, because he'd planned for it months in advance. This single habit eliminated an entire category of financial stress from his life. No more surprise expenses derailing his progress. No more guilt over holiday spending. Just money, already set aside, quietly doing its job. Terry didn't stop at spending less and earning more, though. He also went after money he was already losing every single month without realizing it. This next one takes 15 minutes, and most people never bother, which is exactly why it works so well. Terry called his phone provider and his insurance company and simply asked if there were any better rates available. That's it. 2 phone calls, roughly 15 minutes each. The result, $70 saved every single month, ongoing, indefinitely. Companies rarely offer their best rates up front. They're counting on you never asking. A short, polite phone call asking about loyalty discounts, competitor pricing, or new promotions can save you money that keeps compounding month after month, for as long as you keep that service. $70 a month sounds small until you realize that's $840 a year, recurring from 30 minutes of mildly uncomfortable phone calls. Few things you do with your money will ever have a better return on your time. There's one more lesson left, and it might be the most important one, because it's the one that determines whether any of this actually lasts. Here's something most people get completely backwards. They think saving money means eliminating all joy from their life until the goal is reached. Deprive yourself, suffer through it, reward yourself later. Terry did the opposite, and it's exactly why he stuck with it for 14 straight months instead of burning out after 6 weeks like so many people do. Every time his savings crossed a new $1,000 milestone, he allowed himself a small, $10 treat. Nothing extravagant. A nice coffee, a small meal out, something that felt like a genuine reward without derailing his progress. This mattered more than it sounds. Motivation isn't a switch you flip once and forget. It's something you have to maintain, especially over more than a year of consistent effort. By celebrating small wins along the way, Terry kept the emotional reward system engaged instead of postponing every ounce of satisfaction to some distant future date. This is the difference between a goal that survives contact with real life and one that quietly dies in week 3. 14 months after that declined card at the grocery store, Terry hit $10,000. $5,000 sat safely as his emergency fund. The rest was invested, growing quietly in the background. Today, he's completely debt-free and saving toward his first home. Let's bring this all together, because none of these lessons work in isolation, they work as a system. Terry automated his savings so willpower was never required. He tracked every dollar so he could actually see where his money went. He cut invisible costs like forgotten subscriptions, and he negotiated his bills for savings that kept paying him month after month. He accepted some social discomfort in exchange for long-term freedom. He gave himself a specific, measurable target instead of a vague hope. He built an emergency fund before investing a single dollar. He found ways to earn a little more, not just spend a little less. He planned for predictable expenses with sinking funds. And he celebrated small wins to keep himself motivated for the long haul. None of these individual steps are complicated. None of them require a finance degree or a six-figure salary. What they require is consistency, repeated over time, until the results become impossible to ignore. Your first $10,000 isn't about deprivation. It's about intention. It's about deciding, today, that you're done hoping it works out, and instead building a system that makes sure it actually does. You don't need to implement all 10 lessons tomorrow. Pick one. Maybe it's automating a small transfer this week. Maybe it's finally canceling that subscription you forgot about. Start there, and let the momentum build from itself. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. It genuinely means a lot. If this video gave you even one idea you can use, share it with a friend or family member who's been wanting to get better with money too. Subscribing helps enormously, and liking this video helps even more people find it who might really need it right now. If you're ready to keep building momentum, check out the video appearing right on your screen next.